Hello everyone. In today's video I'm going to show you how I make homemade pizza dough. Now the ingredients are very basic and simple, and most of them you're probably already going to have on hand. I'll be using some all-purpose flour or bread flour, either one will work fine, some white sugar, a little bit of salt, some rapid rise yeast, olive oil, and some warm water. Now this pizza dough recipe is very simple. The recipe I'm making today is going to make 2 large pizza doughs. And what makes this recipe so simple is you're basically just throwing all your ingredients in there and mixing them up. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to add 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, using a large tablespoon, I'm going to measure out 4 tablespoons of the white sugar. And I just level them off a little bit. Okay, next I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And using a fork, I'm just going to mix all these ingredients up so far. Okay, next I'm going to add my 4 teaspoons of rapid rise yeast. I'm just going to mix that up. Okay, for my next steps, I'm going to add my oil and my water. Now, I have 1 cup of warm water measured out. Now, I may use the whole 1 cup. I may use just a little less. I may use just a little more. With pizza dough, you just kindly have to add a little water at a time till you get the dough consistency that you're looking for. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and add most of this cup of water to give me a start. And it leaves me with about a 1/4 cup left in my cup. So I may need to add the rest here in a little bit. And next I'm going to add 4 tablespoons using my regular kitchen tablespoon. I'm going to measure out 4 tablespoons of olive oil. So for my next step, I'm ready to place the mixing bowl on my Kitcheanaid mixer. And I'm going to attach my dough hook and get ready to knead this dough. You can do this recipe by hand. It's just a little bit more work, but it's not too bad. I used to always do it by hand, and then I was fortunate enough to finally get me a Kitcheanaid mixer, which makes the job much simpler. But you can certainly do this by hand. So don't think just because I'm using my Kitcheanaid that knocks you out of the game for fixing your own pizza dough if you don't have one. So let's go ahead and get this hooked up, and I'll take off from there. Okay, I have my mixing bowl attached and my dough hook attached, and I'm ready to go. Now I will be kneading this dough on speed 2. The dough consistency that I'm looking for is a dough that will pull away from the bowl. It isn't extremely tacky. It shouldn't really be sticky at all, but it should still be a very soft dough. So you just kind of have to take your time, allow the mixer to do its work, or stirring it by hand, whichever you're doing. And you're just going to add your water a little at a time until you get that consistency that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and get this started. Okay, I've allowed this to mix for a minute or 2, and I can tell very quickly that it's going to take the rest of my water. So I'm going to add the other approximate 1/4 cup of water to that, and I'm going to allow it to knead a little bit more. Now, if the dough seems too dry, I'm going to add just a little bit more water each time, and you'll just want to add small increments of water because your dough can get very soupy and too doughy and too sticky real quick. So you want to be cautious and allow the mixer to do the work and give it time to your flour to absorb that water before you add any more. So that's what I'm going to do. And after the dough finally starts coming to like a ball stage, I'm going to allow that to knead for about 6 minutes. And I'll bring you back and I'll tell you how much water I ended up using. Okay, I've added a little bit more water to my dough, and before I add any more, I'm just going to take my finger and feel of the dough and make sure that it doesn't feel too firm, because you still want your dough to stay soft, but you don't want it really sticky where it wants to pull back on your finger. So that's a pretty soft dough. So I'm going to knead it just a little bit more, and if I think I need to add a little bit more water, I'll add just a very small little amount then. Okay, my dough is ready. It has formed into a ball, and it's in the right consistency that I want it to be. So from here, I'm just going to turn my mixer on and allow it to knead for 6 minutes, and I'll bring you back when we're ready for our next step. Okay, my dough is ready, and I ended up using approximately 1 1/4 cups of warm water. So just a little over that cup of water I originally measured out. So from here, I'm going to remove the dough hook and get my bowl off my mixer, and we'll take it from there. Okay, I wanted to take a minute to show you this dough real quick, how it looks after it had kneaded. And as you can tell, all the dough has pulled from the sides of my mixing bowl. And also, you could pick this dough right up with your hands, and it did not stick to the bowl. It's not sticking to my hands. It's a soft dough, and it has a light spring back to it. So that's what you're looking for as far as the consistency of your pizza dough. Now for this next step, you simply could oil your mixing bowl, coat your pizza dough in that oil a little bit, and then cover with a towel or saran wrap and place in a warm place to rise until double. But I like to actually just go ahead and measure mine out in equal halves and put them in 2 separate greased bowls and allow them to rise from there. And then, you know, once my dough has doubled, it's ready for the pan. It's already divided out, and just basically you take it from your bowl to your pan, pat it out, and you're ready to go. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to use my scale to divide out in equal parts. If you don't have a scale, you just put this out and kind of eyeball it the best that you can tell to where it looks like 2 equal halves. I used to do that before I had a scale, and I would do the weight test and see, you know, I'd pick up both pieces of the dough and see how they compare to each other in weight. So if you don't have a scale, just make do with your own hands and, you know, just eyeball it. It's simple. But since I do have my scale, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to lightly sprinkle my surface with just a tad little bit of flour. And probably could get by with not even having to do that, but I just do it as a precaution to make sure no dough sticks to my surface. So I've got it laid out there, and I've got this little scraper thing that I'm going to use to cut my dough. Now I'm going to now I'm going to weigh each half to see how much it weighs. That is 1.08, and that's 15, so I need just a little bit to go over on this one. So that's 104, 102, so that's close enough. So from there, I'm just going to take each half of the dough and ball it up and form it into a ball like that. And now I'm going to grease my 2 glass bowls up and place each dough into one bowl each. And then I'm going to lightly spray the tops of the dough. And I'm going to use some saran wrap and place over each bowl. And that's going to prevent any drafts from getting into the dough and drying it out. Okay, I have my dough covered in their bowls and ready to be placed in a warm place. And I'm going to allow these to rise until they're double in size. I'd like to give you a helpful tip as far as the saran wrap. I go to Walmart and I buy their Great Value saran wrap, and it says professional strength on it. This is the best saran wrap that I've found. It outdoes even the name brand, so I thought I'd throw that little tip in there for you. So I'm going to allow these to rise until double in size, and I'll bring you back then. My pizza dough has doubled in size, so I'm going to remove the saran wrap. And I'm gently going to deflate the air out of my dough by punching it down. Okay. Now I'm going to take some of this oil spray and just very lightly spray my pizza pan. It doesn't take much. And then I'm going to remove the dough from the bowl onto the pan. And I'm going to start from the middle and just gently start spreading and patting out the dough. Okay, I have my pizza already patted out, so from here I'm just going to take the edges of the pizza and make like a little ridge all around. So I'm just going to take my fingers and go around the entire pizza crust like this. So from here, the pizza crust is ready to have your items put on and put in the oven. Now I preheat my oven at 425, and usually about 10 minutes is plenty enough time to bake these pizzas. Another option you can do after you've patted out your pizza dough is allow that to set for another 15 or 20 minutes and allow that dough to rise a little bit more, and it's closer to a pizzeria style pizza whenever you do that. But if you want to just pat it out and go straight to putting your toppings on, that is fine. So that's what I'm going to do with this first pizza. So first I'm just going to add my pizza sauce to the dough. And I'm just going to take that pizza sauce up to the edge of the crust. Okay, next I'm going to add my mozzarella cheese. And last but not least, I'm going to place me some pepperonis on the top. So now I have all my pizza toppings on there, and I'm just going to place this in the oven and let it bake for about 10 minutes. So I'll bring you all back when it's done. Okay guys, my pizza is done, and this is how it turned out. So from here it's ready to slice up and serve. I thank you all for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please remember to give me a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time guys, bye.